Hi YouTube, I'm back, and today I'm going to be doing a little bit of work on my Toyota Aygo. I've already got it up on the ramps and jacked the back end up. Last week I replaced the round gasket in the front pipes and manifold because it was leaking. However, noticed a couple of days ago it's started to blow again, so I'm gonna have a little play with my new toy here, which is a smoke leak detector. So I'm going to shove that in the back of the exhaust pipe and just check where the leak's coming from to make sure it's not from the actual mounting surface of the cat to the engine, etc. So I'm going to take this round to the back end of the car. I've got a battery charger that's got a continuous output of 13 volts to power it, because the power cables that are designed to connect onto a battery, and when it's like that, won't reach. And I've got the additional cone heads that comes with the kit to plug into the back of the exhaust. Right, so I'll have a look at that now. So it looks like it's leaking from that gasket that I fitted again. So I'll go switch that off, get some tools, and then see if we can reseal it. Remove this from the mounting rubber. There we go. So there's the gasket stuck in there. Because the one I replaced last week, there was a big chunk out of the side of it, so that was the reason it was blowing. So today I'm just going to put some exhaust sealant around the bottom of the cat, so on the bottom here and some on the inside, because it does seem, I'm not sure how well you see, there is quite a bit of play on that, so it's not exactly tight. I'd say it's maybe 2 to 3 mil too big for that piece of pipe that sticks out. Okay, but this time the fingers actually stayed attached up there. So the gasket's still up there. Don't know how well you can see that, but this time I'm gonna put some. Let me just move the camera. I'm gonna put some inside here now. Might be best to use my finger for this. Alright, so hopefully that'll cure it now. Okay. Right. Second try to see whether it fixes it. Oh, we've got smoke coming back out of the cone in the exhaust in the tailpipe. So it looks like that's sealed because I've just noticed there where my finger is, looking short, there's a little bit of a pinhole leak coming from there. So let's just see if oh, hold on. Got a slight bit of smoke coming out of there, but looks like we've got a hole in that cat. Right, let me go get my other toy, which is a borescope. New borescope, new toy. Right. Where's the video option? Is that it there? Yeah. Don't know how well this is going to show up on camera, but there's a pinhole right there in the top of the cat. So new cat needed. Okay, so hopefully you were able to see that, because I've just realised the camera was on photo mode. But anyway, so that's more or less the leak on the front pipe to cat fixed. It did start leaking again slightly, but more importantly, I've found there's a hole at the top of the cat, which will obviously be affecting my emissions, and so that needs changing for the MOT. So I'm going to get one of those ordered, and we'll get on with that when the part arrives, which might be in a few days, or it might be in a couple of weeks, because I've got a couple of holidays to look forward to. Right, bring you back when I'm ready. Right, so it's been at least maybe a month and a half since the last part of the video. The cat arrived about a few days to a week after the last section of the video. Here it is. So I paid about £30 for this. I suspect it's not going to be up to the task, but I just wanted to give a cheaper alternative a go first before forking out hundreds of pounds on a new one. So, got the car up on ramps. I'm going to make a start in a minute on getting the front bumper off and get myself access to change the cat. So I'll include a little bit of inspection camera video of the inside of this new cat as well. And I did shine a torch down one end as well, so you can actually see a little bit of light coming through, but only time will tell. Once it's done, I'm going to take it to an MOT test centre and get it stuck on the emissions and just get the emissions checked. And if it's a complete fail, then I'll obviously order one that I bought for my son's car about 18 months ago and put on his, and he hasn't had a problem with the emissions since. Right, let's get on. Right, so there we go, got the bumper off. You can see the cap there. What I am going to do, give myself a little bit more access. I'm going to take this front bumper suspension, not suspension, but front bumper part off. Looks like there's only about 4 nuts either side and it'll come straight off. I'll give me a bit more access. And I'm just going to spray up some of them nuts with a bit of penetrating fluid now, in preparation. Right. Okie doke. Right, so I'm not sure how much of this was recorded, but I'm using the kind of impact to hopefully shock the bolts loose before I try and actually undo them with the ratchet. I'm sure if I can get on that one. Yeah. That one went okay. New bolts and nuts for these anyway, so. That one's come off. Let's give it a little top onto the ratchet now. That one feels a little bit tight. So there's that one. So I'm going to give it a little bit more with the impact. Hopefully to just loosen it slightly. There we go, that's got it. 4 out of 4 bolts out. Get that one stuck in the socket. Get that out in a minute. So, come on. And there you want him. There we go. Now, how was it I got this out on my son's car? Can't exactly remember. I think on his I might have had to take the heat shields off it. I know somebody's most probably saying, well, you're taking the radiator off anyway, so why don't you do it now to give yourself a load of room? Yeah, I might end up having to do that. Try and get it back up a bit. Oh, there we go. Out the bottom. looked like it on the inspection camera that it was leaking around here somewhere. Can't see. Oh, myself. Hold on, what's that? Nope. Anyway, I'm sure I can hook up the smoke tester back up to it after and block the rest of the ports up. Let's have a little side-by-side comparison. A little bit of a side-by-side comparison. Yeah, that looks. Also, I can't see what the marks are on that one, but piece of weld or anyway. Right, so I've managed to get the heat shield off. The bolt snapped as I expected. The heat shield doesn't really line up very well on that new Cat, but I am not too worried about that at the moment. At the moment, I am just going to concentrate on cleaning this exhaust outlet ports up and go from there. It looks like somebody's trying to put exhaust paste all over that at some point to try and seal it, which is kind of never really going to work. Surface has to be clean. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to remove the starter motor, or at least the top bolt anyway, to get into that far left low part. I'll try and put you so you can see. All I'm doing is waggling it just off the top to come off that mount. Like so. And then I've got a little more room to get in there to clean up that lower part of the, which, let's see if I can mount you so you can see. Hey, I think that's as good as I'm going to be able to get it, to be perfectly frank. So I can't manoeuvre the new cat in. And get that bolted on. Bit of copper grease on these studs. Honest opinion about this cat, the gasket isn't the best. It doesn't look like it lines up very well for the holes. The supplied bolts look aren't really the right size for these diameters, so I'm having to use the original bolts. So I'm going to have to try and, when putting this top nut in, lift the gasket up a little bit to allow the nut to go in, or the bolt I should say. There we go. It's going in. So let me just show you what I'm on about. In that hole there, I don't know whether you're going to be able to see, the gasket's just petering over a bit. But experience tells me, actually, if it doesn't seem right, then just triple check it. It's on the right way round. Now that lines up much better. That's perfect now. Show you what I mean. Hopefully you can see. So that gasket is lined up perfect now. So initially, what I thought was right wasn't. So I don't have to lift the gasket up, move it out the way or anything now to get the bolts through and into the head. Just need to put a little bit of copper slip on this one. Okay. I'm just going to use the gun to quickly loop spin them up. Okay, so next update. It's about a week since I started to remove my radiator. That was one of the other things that I wanted to do during this cat replacement. However, stupid me, ordered one several months ago, didn't check the box, turns out it was the wrong one, so I had to buy another one and wait for that to be delivered. Also had several days of rain, so this is the first dry day we've had since. So I'll just spin you around, have a look where we are at the moment. So new cat, oxygen sensing still needs to go back in on the top. I took the cat back off and put the heat shield on, and we've got the lower cross member off the bottom. Top tip, if you're ever removing that lower arm, there's bolts in each corner. There's about 3 or 4 of them. Basically, I think most of them snapped because of the rust. I was able to get them out with a small fine gas bottle and a pair of pliers, and most of the bolts that hold the plastic trim onto the bottom of it, most of those snapped as well, but I've managed to do the same by putting that in the vise, heating it up, and got all but 2 of the bolts out. Right, so let's carry on. Let's get this new radiator fitted and the car built back up. Okay, just one more thing. I'm going to be replacing this aircon radiator at the same time, because there's no gas in the system. It's never worked. The radiator doesn't look in great condition, so that's getting replaced as well. And I'll hopefully go see about getting it regassed at some point. Right, let's get on with it. Right then, so we're up, batteries in, O2 sensors now in the top of the cat, and new radiator, new aircon radiator as well are in. I've just got the front bumper bars to put back on the bumper, but right now I'm going to give it a test fire. Got one chance, as somebody else on YouTube says. Can't feel any leaker down there now. Right, that's starting to burn off the outer covering layer. So I'm going to let that get up to temperature before I put anything else back. Right, so good morning, next update, a few days after finishing, and about 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm here to just get the emissions tested on this new cat. Don't know how much of this I'll be able to record because I forgot my main camera. But there's the machine. Yeah.
Hydrocarbons are excellent.
Right.
The land is just struggling coming in there, but just
Is that
needs to be but less than 0.03.
Yeah.
So it's come in. Yeah.
Is that the after one or the before one?
Doesn't work like that.
Alright.
Yeah.
So perfect.
Yeah, excellent, spot on.
Nice one. Right, so there we go. The cat has passed the emissions test, and so £30 brand spanking new cat off eBay for roughly about 30 quid has passed the emissions. Derek, who tested the emissions for me, did say they're normally fine with the aftermarket stuff. It might only last 12 months. So my MOT, I believe, is not due until about April, May time, something like that, next year, 2026. So I'll maybe put an update in the comments if it should fail when it goes through next MOT. But at the end of the day, it's £30. It's cost me £30. You know, if it does fail, yeah, the emissions at some point, then hopefully I'll be in a better position where I can afford to spend the £200 odd that I bought for my son's Aygo. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video and you found it useful. Take care. See you again soon.